if that's the case, then yeah. So if Grant wants to join, like he can start playing. He can play you now.
Okay, that's was cool. Better than I thought.
I just figured I send you out that way just so you can like get something cool. And, like,
no, thank you for letting me know about that. I rarely do those, so that is pretty cool, and I appreciate it. I'll wait for Grant to show up in the room, and then I will make a room for us.
Yeah, I do them all the time for myself personally. So
y'all again ready for the new esports Gundam game to be announced?
Yeah, we talked about it earlier.
I wonder, you guys think they're actually gonna port what's it?
EX versus 2?
EX versus 2?
That's likely.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Maybe.
Like, I don't think they'd make a brand new game for this.
No, what's the netcode situation gonna be like? Trash?
Like, they already got burned on the last new console-only game they did.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that was when EX versus 2 wasn't developed. The main team was working on that. Well, the B team worked on Gundam Versus.
The main thing was that they wanted to have two separate heads with Extreme Versus. They wanted the arcade and then they wanted the home console side, and they wanted to make them different enough that they wouldn't, run in and cannibalize one another. But of course, we got EX Force or whatever, and then freaking Versus on PS4, and that worked out so well. They decided to give us Maxi Boost on instead. So I'm thinking they're not gonna go that route this time. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I also don't think that.
Also, there's nothing stopping it from EX versus 2 from getting a port now because the arcade scene is dying. That's what prevented a lot of these games being ported over in the first place.
Yeah, it's so bad they didn't even add the arcade profits to their quarter financials from 2020.
Wow,
like, usually it's on there.
You knew that COVID was gonna destroy arcade profits, but like the problem is now it's going to take a long time for that stuff to recover, and it may not ever get back. Like, I don't think it's ever going to get back to where it was, even in Japan.
Yep.
So that's why Bandai is going out with this and saying like, oh, we want to create an esports Gundam game because it's going to take the place of the arcade game.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna turn into like Guilty Gear or any other competitive fighter. That's what they're doing. I guarantee you that's what they're doing.
And last year, Bamco they saw when it came to their sales, they sold more copies of console video games, overseas rather than in Japan. In Japan, their sales were pretty dismal.
Yeah, it's because like the market is like 8 times bigger than it is in Japan. Like, they're finally starting to care about the world market more because they want to make more money.
The other problem on top of that is that the PlayStation 4 is not a huge console out there. Like, it's very, very low in terms of like install base. On top of that, like the console space is just out in Japan. Like, it's pretty much dead and gone.
Mobile's taking over. But Grant, what were you saying?
I just got in on the tail end of this. I'm honestly thinking we're talking about the new Gundam game announcement, right?
Yeah, the esports game. Yeah.
My personal thoughts on the matter. I'm thinking.
Bye, Jen.
I am thinking this is probably. I don't think they're going to pull a Versus 2. I really don't think they're going to pull that. I think, if anything, they don't want to cannibalize their arcade profits. Historically, they've always staggered out their arcade versions to their home ports on a ratio of about 3 years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I was not expecting any follow-up to Mban before, let's say, 2022, 2023, really.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see it get like 3 years worth of breathing, because it did do better numbers than Gundam Versus did. That's pretty much guaranteed, just from the health of the player base and how long it's been maintained, and the fact that I still keep seeing new names show up in rooms. I'm pretty positive that this is doing much better than the previous version had done.
Yeah.
So
the legacy
player base, worldwide release, he's right.
Yeah.
The legacy player base is sticking around. The new player base is coming in, which is great. That's what you want.
Especially with all the events they've been having as well. You think that's been pulling in people?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's got freaking EVO side tournament. That's official. It's got ESL support, but from Sony. Like, it's getting a lot of push, but when they want to make a new game because arcade profits are dipping off, I'm concerned that if they push something too early, that it ends up spitting in the face of everyone who had already stepped in to buy Maxi Boost now. Because if they think they're going to make this for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, I doubt they're going to do that. I think they're going to focus their development on PS5 and kind of push it out there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't agree with that, if only because they're going to probably target PS4. Mostly because, like, there's still a shortage of PS5s out in the open, and on top of that,
by the time this game releases, that's not going to be a factor.
Yeah,
we're already going to be in the transition by the time.
I still don't agree with that because, like, the reports are already coming out that the chip shortages are going to go out all the way up until 2023. That is the forecast we have right now.
This only really matters. Like we don't know what their timeline is for this. Like they just announced, hey, we're going to create an esports Gundam game. Like they didn't give a timeline for this. I mean, we could get that thing in 2 years from now, maybe even 3. Who knows? And at which point, what Grant is talking about is probably not going to be an issue. But Grant, you did come in at the tail end of that. And what me and Mal were saying is that we think that this new game that they're developing is going to replace both the home and the arcade versions, and there just simply won't be an arcade version anymore.
It might be the case depending on how arcade revenues are dying off. I know that they've just eased restrictions in both Tokyo and Osaka, and since those are basically the 2 most populous areas of Japan with the most arcade penetration, I would be interested to see what a return to form would look like over time. I think people will still be a little gun shy, but at the same time, people will want to come back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's. I think it's kind of way too early to call on a lot of this stuff. My personal thoughts. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was about to say no. You're definitely right. It's way too early because literally all we have is we're making a new esports game, and we're all just inferring stuff from that one line announcement in that one tweet.
Yeah.
So you're completely right about that part.
What I'm hoping to see, and this is going to sound a little heretical. What I'm hoping to see is they put in a ton of QOL updates and upgrades into Maxi Boost as we know it.
Yes, thank you.
And I want them. I would like to see them release. I hate myself for saying this, but please hold your applause. I want to see them release a free-to-play version of this on PlayStation and PC. Now, hold on and hear me out. Have a base roster. No, listen. Have a base roster. Have a weekly unlock roster.
Yeah.
Be able to actually open up new units by choice with the GP points that you earn. But also give people the ability to unlock the full game for $60. And tie that into being able to play the people who already bought in. So it doesn't spit into the face of the existing player base.
Yeah.
Gives people a full pay option, or gets people who don't even want to pay the option to get in for free. That will boost the player base by default. That will not be super aggressive in terms of DLC or monetization, because you could just opt to unlock the full game for $60, and it still keeps people who made the investment happy with their investment because they're going to get the QOL stuff for free.
Yeah, that's a good idea, but I just don't think they're going to do it.
So I don't think they will either. They're Bamco. They're going to shit the bed somehow. But
I do want to wait. I do want to point out they did that with the last Dead or Alive game, and I don't think that worked out well. That Casey.
But that's all DOA though.
That's DOA.
Yeah, that's also DOA.
And when you look at DOA, take a look at what DOA had on the side. Look at all the microtransactions and monetization on the side of that.
They made a lot of money off that game regardless.
Version of it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Thousands of dollars of worth for DLC.
Woo!
As a note, Varnus, how's your game going over there?
Oh, it's going fine.
Okay,
what hole are you on?
What hole are you on? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, because we'll be done in like 2 to 3 holes here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, SoulBro, I'm actually ready to rock wherever you are.
Cool. Okay.
So you guys can do a match play essentially.
Yeah, we'll do a 3-hole game real quick, and get some.
Do match play because that's designed for 2 players.
Match play? Okay, cool. That works.
Yeah.
That works. All right, cool.
Watch us go back and forth for like a full 18.
We did that for the one night, and that's just because I didn't want to manage like.
Oh, do you see that? My ball bounced off the tree.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right.
Yeah, but going back to the esports versus thing, like I just think it's going to be a brand new game that's going to replace the arcade version, because if they truly want to make this esports, they need to have it just be a console version that they can pick up and take anywhere in the world. Anybody in the world can pick it up and play it, and it can go to tournaments and do all this other stuff. And you're not going to be having the limitations of having to play it on an arcade.
Speaking of limitation, if it's going to be an esports version, let me go ahead and take the fucking. I'll go ahead and grab the podium real quick. Let's go ahead and add us a fucking real training mode.
Yes.
With a full fucking command list and programmable dummies, and give me fucking input playbacks on replays, and give me the ability to fucking camera control to where I can see what the fuck is going on.
Yes.
And some slow mo and some pause and perhaps some rewind. And let's have a game that's built in 2021 for fuck's sake.
Yo,
You know what?
I need frame data, son.
You know what?
I'll play it.
If they're gonna do that, we need a mobile suit-sized Mokujin to fight against.
Hey Grant, if you could go to the online features and look for my room, the password is 0079.
Cool.
We're totally.
They already have one half of the equation, which is LAN play. So once in-person tournaments start get going again, that part of the equation won't be a problem.
Yeah,
It's the other half of the equation that Japan just can't seem to wrap their fucking head around.
I think though, if they're gonna do this in 2021, like it's gotta have they're gonna put rollback in it. Like
They have to do rollback netcode.
Yeah.
Especially if they're building it from the ground
Esports,
up.
man.
Rollback netcode for 4 simultaneous players at once, though, that's a level of black magic I don't think anyone's really thought about yet.
Also,
the PS5 is capable. And PC, of course, but
fingers crossed. But
Yeah.
the thing is, too, is the problem you get into with physical tournaments, and I was having a conversation about this in my own Discord with someone who does run events. The problem is the fact that Gundam has such a real estate requirement that you could put 8 players on 4 stations for the amount of space and equipment it would take to run one Gundam session.
Yeah,
that's an issue.
That is an issue. Absolutely. It's hard to do like a huge number tournament with all those setups, because people have to take turns playing the game and all that stuff. Online, it's a bit easier, of course, but without decent netcode, that's almost an impossibility at this point. So
It's part 3.
I'm just saying it right now. It's definitely going to be Endless Duel HD edition with rollback.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you.
At least as a fighter.
I'm gonna show up to the next CEO being like, "When's Advance Wars?"
Yo.
Dude,